Hey everyone, welcome to Rainbow Soulstrology. I'm Bright Hawk, and together with Hollis Taylor, we bring you weekly astrology that's accessible, inclusive, and totally down to earth. Hollis is a seasoned astrologer and psychic medium. I'm a musician, artist, and storyteller who loves making the cosmos relatable. We're both passionate teachers who love answering your questions and helping you navigate life through the stars. Each week, we start with a guided meditation to tune in to the planetary energies. Then we dive into the week's cosmic forecast, offer horoscopes for every sign, and always make time for your live questions. Whether you're brand new to astrology or you've been following the stars for years, we create a welcoming space where everyone belongs. Our different perspectives and styles come together to give you a well-rounded cosmic experience. Welcome to Rainbow Soulstrology. Let's get centered, tune in, and explore what the universe has in store for us this week.
Hey everyone! Oh my goodness! I feel like we're trying to land the plane, you guys. I'm so sorry for missing last week. The best thing I can tell you is that I was in the hospital. Okay. It was an unfortunate situation. My heart went into what we call an arrhythmia. It can be life threatening in some instances. It probably wasn't for me. Um, but it was the first time that ever happened to me, and they definitely wanted to check it out and try to get it under control, which we did. And here I am. And we can all be very grateful for all of the grand trines in the sky that while I had a difficult situation, I also had an easy answer. So, so I am grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be alive. And I'm grateful to be doing astrology. I want to let you guys know that if you are a viewer and a fan of Nadia Shah, I am definitely part of her I'm going to be part of her classes in it's actually the first week of February. It's like February 6th or something like that. And
Nadia's school is called Synchronicity University.
that's right. That's actually where I did a lot of, not all, but a lot of my learning for astrology. So if you're ever interested in getting I find that she doesn't do a lot of basic stuff. You might want to start with my basic 101 class. And then when you're done with the basics 101, she has some basic stuff, but a lot of her stuff is a little bit more advanced and rare type of stuff. And that was one of the reasons I was part of her school for many years. Bright Hawk and I both went to her school. So we support it. So I hope that you will check out Nadia Shah and catch my class. I will be doing a class in the first week of February, and it is queer astrology. I'll be showing you how to find queerness in astrology charts, how it shows up, as far as we've noticed so far, and I think it's an evolving art. So I will also be teaching that. And so that's a very exciting thing that's all happening at the same time. So this Mercury retrograde has certainly been a doozy for Bright Hawk and I. Not only was I in the hospital, but we are moving um, out of Colorado because I believe it's part of the stress that's happening on my body. And yeah, so we're actually moving across the country. Okay, so I'm just going to be straight up about that. That's what's happening. It's very intense, it's overwhelming. So if you are also going through a November, we know exactly what our astrology is happening, and it is I, I don't you can't make it up. That's all I'm gonna say again, which is what Bright Hawk always says when we point out something. Can't make this shit up. um so um so you guys. So I hope that you're navigating this Mercury retrograde okay. I'm so sorry for missing last week. I hope you understand. We're doing our best as we travel. Um, we'll try to keep things as consistent as we can, but if we're a little late, please forgive us. That's what's going on. We are traveling. We are moving house right now, and we'll probably be traveling the week of Christmas, around solstice, around the 20th, and then we'll be. Then once we get settled in, we're going to start in Pennsylvania until we can get to places like New York, until we can buy a house. But first, we got to sell our house first. Okay. So it's a very complicated, very full plate. You can understand that we're a little bit overwhelmed. So I hope that you're understanding. And please be patient while we bring this thing in for a landing, because that's where we're at. We're hoping that things get a little bit more steady as the official shadow period of this Mercury retrograde. Because in the shadow period of this Mercury retrograde, Bright Hawk, you remember? Oh my, we were already hitting it. We had pipes busting. We had crazy stuff going on.
This was a Mercury retrograde for the ages. I'm just going to say it was one of those, okay, even with everything we know and understand about astrology, it just felt like the punches just kept coming. And it helped to know that, okay, so we knew this wouldn't be smooth, so plans keep changing and adapting, and we just keep changing and whew, surfs up,
Also knowing
hang
knowing
10.
there's an end game. Knowing there's an
Right.
end game. Uh that also feels better, knowing there's a little bit of an end
A
game that could
plan.
be really helpful. Just making things a little bit easier, making things a little bit, just anything we can do to make things easier has been really what we've been doing, even the tiniest things like recording this. And I'm gonna post it this afternoon. It's Sunday, December 7th. And I'm okay. If my heart goes into those arrhythmias, there's all kinds of treatments and things I can get. It's only life threatening because it can make my ventricular heart kind of beat in a funky way. But the good news is I have a device that will shock me if that happens. The other good news is I am so body aware that I am aware when I'm in it. So the good news about that it gets dangerous for people that are not aware. And because I'm aware and present in my body, then what ends up happening is I can call the doctor and say, "Hey, we need to do something. I've been in atrial fib for a few hours and I can't get myself out." But let me tell you how I got myself out. Just for those out there that might also be doing this. I was in the hospital, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, while Bright Hawk's juggling things at the house, trying to get us moved out of there. And so I was like, well, there's not a whole lot to do in the hospital. And I was perfectly okay. Like, I'm alert, awake, and oriented. Just my heart is beating in a kind of a weird way. And so I just started putting my feet up on the head of the bed. The first time the nurse walks in, now this is total Uranian, right? I'm just going to say I'm a total Uranian, Uranus on my ascendant. The nurse walks in and she's like, sorry, he's like, what is going on? And I was like, and I just look at him and I go, I think I didn't have anything to lose and it might help my feet not swell so bad. And it might reset my heart. And he was like, what? I don't I don't think you're hurting anything. And I was like, yeah, me neither. And then a couple hours later, I did it again. I did it a couple of days in a row. And then the next time I was doing it, the doctor and 3 residents, because it's a learning hospital, all come in. And I'm a rare entity because of the congenital, because the disease that I live with is very rare and Uranian. And so they all want to listen to my heart. They all want to talk to me. They all want to look at my chart because there's a lot to learn. And I'm laying there with my feet up in the air. And the doctor's eyes get really big, and all of them are like, So I turn over and sit up, and I'm like, well, you guys practice your medicine and I'm practicing mine. Let me just say, after that conversation with the doctors, about 2 or 3 hours later, my heart came out of the arrhythmia. It's yoga. I did a lot of yoga and meditation. So if that ever happens to you, I'm just going to suggest that yoga and meditation, you're surely not going to hurt anything. The doctors kind of that's what they just kept saying, well, you're not hurting anything.
So imagine,
So
if you will, folks, and I think this is hilarious because this was actually something I had a beloved drama teacher, coach, mentor friend who was our high school, drama teacher, and he taught us, whenever you're feeling stressed, lie down, put your feet up on the wall. Lie down, put your feet up on the wall.
yeah.
And that prone position does something to reset your nervous system. So you can
Mhm.
imagine when all the doctors are walking in expecting to see Hollis's face and they see Hollis's feet. I just want you to get the visual. And if you're ever feeling stressed and you need to really reset, that is something you can do for yourself. Lie down, put your feet up against the wall, be in that prone position, and in that position, just start taking some deep breaths. And it doesn't take but 3 breaths, and you're going to have a different experience than when you lie down to begin with. Just so you know.
Yeah,
Just so you know.
and when you first sit up, it's a little bit
Go
hard,
slow.
but yeah, go slow. You just sit there I just sat on the edge of the bed or just sit on the floor or whatever and wait. And then next thing you know, the doctors did not deny that that what I did, putting my feet up, could have reset my heart rhythm. And I'm not really sure. I am a medical intuitive. I do medical astrology and wellness coaching for people, and wellness, like, sort of appointments where if you're struggling with something that you don't understand, I do sometimes get wellness downloads for myself and others. I've helped lots of people with wellness. I'm still going to refer you back to the hospital. I'm going to always stay in touch with the prescribed medicine, but usually I shock doctors. That's usually what happens. I surprise them. That's usually, yeah. So that's fine. And I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to be the one to do it. So here we are, and we're here to bring you this week's astrology. I'm excited to take a look at it. I'm really hoping things get smoother for Bright Hawk and I as our plans come together, as things start to solid up. My son's going to be flying out and helping us drive across the country. So good news, my son will be with me, my whole family, that whole week while we're driving across. What a fun family adventure for an entire week. Um, so I haven't done Yule with family in years, so this should be interesting. And that's pretty much my family, is my son and my daughter-in-law and my grandchildren, of course, and Bright Hawk. So all of us, that's our family. And so that's an exciting thing to do, right? Okay. Except for the Kansas part. Anyway, so if you've ever driven across
No
the country,
offense
you
to
get
anyone
that
who
joke.
lives in
No,
Kansas, but
yeah,
it's a long
no
state to
offense.
drive across.
Jeez, if you've ever
We've
driven
driven
across it,
across it many
you're
times, and
laughing
it's
right now.
just.
You're laughing right now. Yeah. So let's do a little meditation. Bright Hawk doesn't have her hand pan in the moment. But let me just say, this is an opportunity that you can go to her website. Bright Hawk has a great website if you go to brighthawkproductions.com. If you go to that /2019 album, I don't know why it just turned itself off. If you go there, it will you'll be able to see her music and everything else that is offered. And she has 2 different albums. And so today we thought we would play one of the songs from the Sacred Side Project and do a little meditation. So I hope you all are going to enjoy this. A little bit different, but I'm sure you guys will be happy to hear it. Okay, let's take a deep breath. This is Teresa's Lullaby on Sacred Side Project, one of Bright Hawk's first album, which you can download at her website for just a couple bucks, so you can have it on your phone and use it for meditation at any time. And you can also listen to it for free on YouTube. We want you to have it if you need it. And just take a deep breath and allow all the tension and the stress to fall off of your body. And release it into the earth as you imagine yourself lying back in the dark sky, where you seem to be floating in darkness that goes on forever. And in that darkness, in the distance, you can see a planet, a bluish color, and it has a 3-pronged fork on it. Representative, often the god of Neptune. Neptune, the holder of dreams and visions, stands before you with the 3-pronged fork in their hand, staff towering just above their head. They stand before you in their power, strongly in their ruled sign of Pisces, to reveal before you your visions, your dreams, opening your third eye as the planet Neptune goes direct, releasing delusions, revealing the truth, and showing you exactly which way to go next. And inspiring you to reach your biggest dreams, inspiring your heart and your mind and your third eye to align together to manifest your life dream. And as Neptune slides back into the sky, we come back to ourselves, back to our body. bodies in the here and now, leaving us with a feeling of knowing that our path is becoming. I invite you now to wiggle your toes, ears, take a deep breath. And come back to Rainbow Soul Vodcast. Welcome back, everyone. So, if you can't guess what's happening, we are starting this week off in a grand trine. We're still in that grand trine. I mentioned how the grand trine helped me. Maybe it helped you too, and if you felt like you had a problem or a struggle or whatever, there was probably an easy solution right there. You just had to look a little bit for it. And right now we do have, I am noticing that Mercury, Uranus are coming into opposition, but that won't perfect, which is when it will be most powerful later this week. So someone will probably just say something surprising. That's what I think it's going to be. But anyway, Mercury is usually a messenger. So, I got the message that I need to be very careful about my stress management, and that needing to leave Colorado is definitely putting my body under stress. There's no doubt about it. So I can just stop questioning myself. And as we move forward, so if you got a message like that, if you got a health message, especially if you happen to be a Scorpio or Sagittarius rising, you may have gotten a health message, or Gemini rising might have, or a Taurus rising might have got a health message, because Mercury's retrograde might have happened either in your first house of vitality, like it did for me because I'm a Scorpio rising, or in your sixth house of health. Okay. And so if that happened, then you would have realized if you got some sort of message about your health, make sure you take it seriously, make sure you listen to it, and make sure you do what you can to manage it in a better way. I have witnessed Mercury give messages about health in the past, for others as well. It did it to my son. It was part of the transit, and my son, when he got the message that he was living with the same heart condition I have. So those are the kinds of things that we want to watch out for. So if you got a message in this month of November, make sure you take it seriously. That's exactly what Mercury does, is it delivers an overall message to you. And that's what it's been about. Now, what part of your life it would have been, that depends on your astrology chart. And hopefully you listen to a horoscope during the Mercury retrograde to help you figure that out. Now, with this grand trine in the sky, that means the answer to it this time will be easy, but it doesn't mean it will be easy next time it comes up. So it's just trying to say, hey, I'm warning you to take care of that so that it's not so bad later. Okay. And if you heed the warnings of the stars, things usually go a little bit better. Now, I did notice this grand trine is happening, and we're starting to form a square between Mars and Saturn. So if you have official business going on Monday, Tuesday with the system, you might just want to make sure you're staying patient with Mars and Sagittarius. It could be kind of it could be kind of frustrating and fiery with the system. With Saturn and Pisces, could feel like it's hard to hold on to the system. Could feel kind of like a strong arm trying to hold on to a sandcastle. And so what I would say is to instead try to be patient and just know that it will come together. The more patient you are, the probably easier it will become, because it is a square, so it's not impossible, but it could be a little bit of a challenge on Monday. I notice it's kind of like Monday, Tuesday here. See that square? Um, is there anything going on with the moon, Bright Hawk, at that time? Monday, Tuesday?
Well, it's a Leo moon. We start the week off with a Leo moon. The moon likes to be in Leo. It's very bright and shiny, and of course, gets lots of love and attention because Leos, if you didn't know, have an attractive quality to them. Leos, we don't even realize it. I have a Leo moon, so there are things that I do quite innocently, and it's probably because mine is a 0 Leo. We've talked about the zeros and the 29s. Those tend to be very powerful, potent moments because that's like when you first enter or you're last leaving. The 29 is called an anaretic degree, by the way. If you've ever heard that term, that's what they mean. So the Leo moon is going to be in very positive aspects because it's part of the grand trine. It's trining Sun and Mars. It's in a T-square as well, actually, with Mercury. You were talking about Mercury opposite Uranus, and so that's part of what is, there could be some surprise communications, some revelations potentially, and just to be a little bit on the mindful side, because with the moon, moon is in a fire sign in Leo. There can be sensitivities there. You could say something wrong and somebody might be quite offended. So I just would tread carefully there. So T squares have an opposition, and the moon is at the top of that T square, and it's uncomfortable. And it means that you have to check in with how people are feeling, in this case, the moon, to understand how to mediate the conversation. You can't just run roughshod over somebody's emotions. It won't work. It's kind of that kind of energy. So it's not the only square. You talked about the Mars-Saturn square. Mars, that all week, that Mars-Saturn-Neptune square is going to be asking some questions about how you want things handled, and things are changing, and how does it need to change, because you have Saturn in there, and that's all about that infrastructure. And boy, do we know all about it. We are so aligned with this particular transit of making plans, adjusting, making more plans. I can't tell you what my father was an engineer, and he used to say, always have a plan A and a plan B, and C and D is not a bad idea either. We're probably doubled the alphabet at this point. We've probably gone all the way through to Z, and we're at double A again. So it's flexible is a really good idea, to be flexible, because that's the world we're in right now. And if you're not, that's when it hurts a lot more. I have a friend that used to say, this is a good one, blessed are the flexible, for they shall never be bent out of shape. Thank you, Fentuzzi.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I feel like with these squares and the grand trine, there's a lot of energy going through this week. And then the thing is that on Wednesday, Neptune stops before it goes direct. So I feel like there's going to be, Wednesday could be some surprise news. We could hear some information either publicly, like on the news, but also maybe possibly also like in our lives. We could hear some surprising information. We could hear some information that we're like, whoa, okay. So it's not necessarily, when I say surprise, sometimes people think I mean bad. Not always. It could have something to do with an investment, especially with Uranus doing its last transit in Taurus. So it's really making you take a look at your investments and making you review what you want to do. So it will have something to do with that, because Taurus rules investments and money. And Mercury is in Scorpio. So as Mercury is at 28 degrees. So it's almost out of Scorpio, but not quite yet. Interestingly, it's on my North Node. So that Uranus will really sort of pull things. It could create some stress, especially on Wednesday. But I will say that that Mercury is also in a trine to that Neptune forward, and it might kind of mess with your plans, or you know, it could kind of mess with things a little bit. So hopefully, you'll be able to manage it to the best of your ability. And then you'll figure out some solution. There is a trine there with that Mercury is trine to Neptune. So I want to tell you to tap into your third eye, tap into your spirituality, because that's going to help you resolve that stress with Mercury opposite Uranus. Okay. Those are really big things. It's kind of a big deal. And so I would also say that there is a little bit of a yod there. I'm just noticing that's pointing to Mars. So it's a little bit of
But wait,
faded energy.
yeah, but
Yeah.
wait till
Yeah, there's
Sunday.
bigger
Wait
yod
till Sunday's
energy.
chart.
So
Oh
we
my.
probably won't you won't feel Neptune go direct the way you feel like Mercury and Mars and Venus, because it takes Neptune is a bigger planet, so it takes a little bit longer to play out. It takes a little bit longer to unfold. So it might just be it's a little bit bigger, so you might notice it over the week or so. So although the day itself, Wednesday, might be hard, I want to tell you to hold on tight, because there will be more to come. There is resolution coming. It's just a matter of holding on to that and trying to stay in touch with your third eye there. Okay, so that's on Wednesday. Did you have anything you want to add about the moon, Bright Hawk? Looks like the moon's dancing in Virgo there.
Yeah. There's just a void, of course, moon Wednesday morning. So if you can take your morning gently, that would be awesome. Um, and the moon moves into Virgo, which is, Virgo wants to provide solutions, take care of the family, make sure everyone in the circle, in the tribe, in the clan is taken care of. So and it could involve somebody or something from the past, because the moon is going to be conjunct the south node. So someone from the past could pop in or help out or something like that.
Yeah, so that could help resolve some of it, but it is in a square. So it could be a difficult thing to manage, but I think I'm glad that it's kind of void on Wednesday. Looks like it will be in a better square on Thursday. And so why do I say better? I say because squares are solvable. Oppositions require you're going to have to give. You're going to have to sacrifice something probably. It's probably not going to be, but a square is solvable. It just requires some problem solving skills. And maybe because I'm a Virgo and I'm pretty good at the whole problem solving thing. I'm kind of like, okay, fine, put your problem solving cap on and here we go. And so that's kind of so
So the
and
other
that
thing
South
that starts
Node
to
hanging out on my
that
sun. Go ahead.
well, and this is for everybody. Remember, the sun, Sag Sun, um, is going to be in a T square to the nodes for several days.
Yeah. Yeah, to the nodes there on Thursday. So that's another little bit of an intense experience there. But I think it's solvable. It's not going to be It's not going to be really hard. I mean, it could be challenging, but it's not going to be impossible. What's harder is whatever somebody said, actually. Um, because because of
Because
that
of,
Mercury
yeah,
opposite Taurus. Yeah.
well, and also because in the same energy with the Mars square Saturn Neptune, you're gonna want to take action. You're gonna want to make a move. You're gonna have to, frankly. That energy is just gonna kind of demand, okay, so what are you doing next? And then the thing that I keep finding interesting as especially as the week goes on is that the energy starts to feel literally more and more and more fated, destined. A sun in a T square with the nodes, it's looking at the past and looking at the future. And literally, a square is saying, what are we going to do about this? We are so living this. I can't even believe it. It's
I
like,
know.
okay, well, you can't stay where you were, and you don't know where you're going yet exactly, but we know enough, that this is the kind of thing Mars and Saturn is going to be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And take action.
Right.
So what I would say with the Sag in there, with Sag Mars, Sag Sun, is to think it through. Because sometimes Sages, we can be impulsive. We can sometimes, leave the blocks before we actually realize, oops, I'm not entirely sure I'm running in the right direction. you know, Let loose the arrow and then realize, oh, uh, not that I would know anything about this. So it does behoove you to tap into um, a moment of, is this the right thing, instead of just the next thing. Being purposeful, not just busy, right? We want to be productive, not just
Right.
busy. So
Right.
that's the key. And check out as this weekend winds up. Holy moly.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I seen that we have a mystic rectangle here on Friday. So everything kind of leads into this very faded energy. I mean, mystic rectangles are faded anyway, and mystic rectangles are about spiritual things kind of coming together, bringing a message through. And with Mercury being part of it, Mercury's not done, not quite out of its retrograde shadow yet. At 1 degree Sagittarius, and be glad when it gets out of Scorpio. um, and it will be in that mystic rectangle. It will be, conversing with the Saturn, Neptune in Pisces, Uranus and Taurus, and the moon in Libra. And I feel like that mystic rectangle is really speaking to healing and blessings, pushing us into exactly where we're supposed to be going, because Neptune is now direct, and Neptunus is showing us the path. It's sort of shining the light in a dark place where we didn't know which way to go, but now we know exactly where to go and exactly where we're going at this point. And Neptune is sort of shining the flashlight for you, holding the flashlight. Emotionally, it may not be the easiest, but you know where you got to go. Mostly because Neptune is in opposition to the moon there. It looks like there's a void of course noon on Friday.
Yeah, so Friday midday, and if in Boulder, Colorado. So, we always tell you, find out what the void of course moon schedule is for your time and place. But it'll be midday. So if you can take a long lunch or take a walk or do something that's good for you and honors that void energy where it's quieter, um, that's what that means. The void means that it's ener- the energy of the moon is at its least powerful. So take advantage of quieter, less emotional energy. Um, yeah, and then check out what happens next.
Yeah, so then Saturday, we start to form some yods. It looks like we have one yod forming on Saturday, and but most of the yods forming on Sunday.
And it's
Um,
Sunday evening to be precise, because you've noticed my times. I tend to pick angel numbers, so 1111 or 5555 or whatever. When I saw the yods starting to line up, I decided to take the snapshot for Sunday evening at 7, because that's when all of these really lit up. And this is for everyone. Remember, this is for everyone. So just a little reminder, if you're listening to us for the first time, a yod, or some people say yod, but I've heard a yod mostly, also known as a finger of God. These are aspects that are fated energy. They're destined. You don't have a lot of choice. You suddenly find yourself like, I don't know, I just feel like I really need to go do that. Follow those instincts, because that's usually you're supposed to, you need to, you're following the path. So 3 of them, and I find this fascinating because I in my chart I have a mystic rectangle and 2 yods. So I find this few days of charts like, whoa, I recognize these. You have the sun at the apex point, and so when we talk about an inconjunct, it's also known as a quincunx, and what it means is across the circle 150 degrees, not 180, that would be an opposition, right? 150, so either side of that, right? And then what happens is that it does those 250 degrees, and then the bottom of the finger of God, or the bottom of the triangle, is a sextile. So the first one we'll talk about is the sun, because the sun is the most powerful, it's the brightest, it illuminates all of us, and really truly shines the light, right? So we have a Sagittarius sun with in conjunct Jupiter and Uranus at the bottom. Okay.
which Jupiter is its ruling planet, so.
Right. So the sun in Sag is answering to Jupiter, right? And then the second one has Uranus at the top, and that's easy to see in the 11th house. And then the moon and Mars at the bottom. And then the third pointed one is pointing at the moon, with Uranus and Neptune at the bottom, at the sextile. So go ahead and unpack some of that, Hollis, about what all of it means, because I just feel like I don't know what's going to happen on the world stage, but Sunday night feels like, whoa, this is, you
Well,
can't make this
I
stuff up.
actually, I'm looking at the one pointing at the sun, and the strongest part of that yod is actually the Jupiter in conjunct the sun. Um, and that's really about like travel, Jupiter in Cancer, retrograde to the sun could make moving around difficult for some reason. Makes me wonder about like weather patterns. But it also could just be like expanding your mind to understand how this is all going to work. And then of course the one pointing at the moon is only going to be, it's going to be very short. So it won't last very long. So the emotionality of that will probably pass pretty quickly, including the one that's pointing to Uranus. But what I will say is that that strongest part of this transit is that's what's going to last the longest, is Jupiter in conjunct the sun, and they are a perfect 23 degrees. Um, and the part of what makes a yod is that yes, it's very faded energy, but it's also very difficult energy. It's usually a difficult, challenging thing that you must do that's faded somehow. And so I'm just going to say that we should absolutely trust whatever's happening and hope and pray that that's exactly what you want it to, that's exactly what you want to happen. This is exactly what the universe planned for you. This is exactly what the universe brought to you for whatever reason. Um, and so now with that in conjunction there, the sun in Sag is very about taking action and heading forward, but Jupiter in Cancer, it could be about the news, patriotic. It could be about problems with the government. Absolutely, because Jupiter in Cancer is about home. So it could have absolutely to do with like our government landscape right now. It could actually have to do with like our situation where we're moving. So if you're moving, because Cancer rules home, whether that's your home that you live in, the neighborhood that you're living in, or the country that you live in, all of those things are all ruled by Cancer. And with Jupiter there, the ruler of Sagittarius, which is the ruler of travel, I'm going to say that there could be some sort of challenge that comes up on December the 14th. um, and this is the sun in conjunct Jupiter and Uranus. um, sorry, the sun in conjunct Jupiter. That's the most important part. Okay. The in conjunct Uranus is there, but mostly Mars is in conjunct Uranus. So Mars is 6 degrees away from the sun and moving away. So its in conjunction probably is actually stronger on Saturday. So I'm gonna say um the weekend could be a little bit difficult. There could be a challenge that you're dealing with there. See how the Mars wanting to take action in conjunct Uranus could be creating some sort of problem that you're trying to resolve about movement, about letting go. Because Uranus rules investments. um it can rule food, money, um, and depends on where Taurus is in your chart. And Uranus, this is the end of a cycle, though. So let me just say that it is the end to a cycle. So sometimes Uranus, if you've done some work and you've made movement in the right direction, Uranus goes, oh, okay, so you made the right movement. Now, these are just the last little things I need you to take care of. And that can be very helpful. Uranus in that way. Uranus can be very helpful in that way. So I just want to say that that's another thing that you can look forward to with Uranus in conjunct like that. I think you'll have it resolved though by the time we move into the following week. So I just want to say that this week it's not incredibly challenging. Um, the it's very faded in the weekend. The biggest challenge is that Mercury opposite Uranus. So, like I said, someone could say something surprising, and you might just have to deal with it in some way to the best of your ability. um and but things are trying to come together. The universe is trying to put things together. Mercury is in a trine to Saturn and Neptune, so I feel like the universe is trying to put things together for you. It's just a matter of you doing the work and taking the steps. And while that can sometimes be difficult for some of us, it can also I think we can come together fairly easily. Um, so I'm hoping that all of you are managing this much better than I am. I mean, I'm here, so I'm grateful for that. But I hope that
I'm
you're
super
no,
grateful for that.
yeah.
I'm just going to
I
say while they reach for their cards, and we'll try to finish with a little tarot reading, that we're really grateful for you being here. We hope that you have a great week and that this helps you navigate that week. it's really interesting when you see certain things line up. And this is the times in which we live. Let's just all remember, at some level, we all agreed to be here in this together on this journey, and we're all going to learn what we have to learn, hopefully. And hopefully we learn and grow together. And we appreciate you supporting Rainbow Soulstrology by thumbs ups and subscribing, and make sure you hit the bell, so in case we're not as consistent as we want to be, you know exactly when we do get stuff posted. We're going to try to stay on top of this. It's a priority for us, but you can imagine Hollis in the hospital last weekend was just some things have to be let go of, and priorities are priorities. So we hope you've had a great week, and hopefully the astrology and now the tarot will add to it. And we'll try to get this posted so you can all have a good idea of what's going down this week. And in the meantime, make sure if you want to get an astrology reading, you can always get an astrology reading with Hollis at divineandrogen.com. I'll bring that up. And
I'm quite capable of doing them on the road. I have software on my computer. So if you're in a situation like me, I'm happy to take a look. If you live somewhere along the path, I'll even try to meet you. Yes, you can absolutely book with me. And I just did a reading yesterday for a customer that comes every 6 months and gets her forecast for 6 months to a year, solar returns type of thing. It's important.
Which is a great thing.
What's going to happen. Yeah, I suggest everyone get at least one reading a year, if not about every 6 months or every quarter, or every time when things come up. You definitely want to check in. So
it's a tool, and we all need to use it. I just constantly marvel at the information that's available to us pretty readily, and how frequently people don't take advantage of the opportunity. So hopefully you are getting the information you need. Are you ready? All right, we're going to go to you.
I'm just laughing because I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, let's see if we can hone in on these cards. Nope. Okay. So what I'm laughing about is is that these cards already are there we go. Still not. So we'll just do this. Okay. So this is the 10 of Cups. And this is about the past. Okay. It's a 10 of Cups here. And this is very much about what has already happened or what has happened. This is about your relationships. This is about love. This is about coming together, maybe your support system through this. What has happened with you. This is about recognizing something that you've created is on its way. This is also about, that's why the woman is pregnant there. You can see the person is pregnant and that they're going to have a baby, and these two are excited about that. And that in itself is about creating youthful energy, which is this child over here. And going forward, this is about, this is about those relationships that you have right now. So this is reminding you of your support system and reminding you that you are loved, reminding you that you are appreciated, and that any support system you might have at this time. And that this is for the here and now. This is recognizing the pain of the here and now. But this is an interesting card because, it's about heartbreak. It's about what has hurt. It's about what didn't go right. It's about what hurt you. But let me point this out about this card is, yes, it's about heartbreak, but did you notice the sun is coming up behind that heart there? And it's sort of like a rainbow on the outer edge. It's because it's creating the prism with the rain. So, this is sort of like, yeah, your heartache might hurt now, but it's going to be beautiful when the rainbow comes out. This is about, yeah, it's a thunderstorm right now, but the rainbow that comes out later is really beautiful. And let me just say, that's what this is about. This is that whatever trouble, whatever sacrifices, whatever you're going through right now, it's going to pay off later. So this is a really great card actually to get right now if you are struggling, because it really tells you that the struggles you're having are minimal and they'll pan out into something better. Now, this is hilarious because I did say Neptune was going direct, right? Which would make it clear, our vision clear and our third eye clear. And if there was a card to represent Neptune, this is it. This is the Page of Cups. And this is very much about going forward. This is about using your third eye. This is about being connected to your emotions. This is about seeing the vision forward and getting it done. This is actually a really great card to have. The Page of Cups is about managing your emotionality in a really good way and having things very much managed in a good way. That's what this is. And I got it, in the future. So this is saying that, manage your emotions going forward and you'll have a good vision of what's going. So if you don't know what you're doing next, or you're having a hard time managing about what you're going to do next, just know that your visions are going to start coming true. You're going to start being able to manifest your dreams. That's what this is about. This is about manifesting your dreams going forward, especially your emotional dreams. So remember what I said about the support system that you have, the emotional support system you have, anything that you've manifested in the past, especially young projects. They are coming to fruition. They are coming together. And then also this about the broken heart, but there's a rainbow right behind it. So just hang in there through the thunderstorm. That's what this card is all about. That's why you got the rain and the prism of the rainbow edge. That's why it does that, is to remind you that beyond heartbreak is usually a rainbow. And then going forward is the Page of Cups, which is very much about your third eye. This is very much about seeing things forward. This is about having a vision and following it. And, being in touch with your emotions. It's an important part of things. Okay. So this is a very important card. Especially with Neptune direct. Like, I'm just like, if you were going to pick a card for Neptune direct, this is it. This is not physical like Mercury Neptune direct. This is more like having a vision forward. This is more like opening your third eye. Okay. So hang in there, my friends. I hope that made sense. It's a beautiful little thing. And I hope you appreciate that. I hope that you are navigating this energy in a good way. I hope that it's coming together for you. And I wish you all well. I wish everybody well.
Wow, that third card is so Neptune in Pisces direct. You can't make this up. I mean, it's never ceases to amaze me how the tarot will underline, point to, underscore the themes that we've been talking about in the astrology. I don't know how that magic works. I just know it does consistently, for sure. So hopefully it really helps you. We look forward to joining you Monday night on a conversation about your chart and what it means exactly for you. Please download your chart, bring it, ask questions. We're happy to answer them. We're going to do the best we can to keep the Monday night live show going.
I think we're going to try to do it a little bit later, Bright Hawk. I think we're
Okay.
going to try to do it at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I think that will be a little bit more manageable for us in this time. So
Yeah.
we're moving our live broadcast time to Monday night at 7 p.m. So please catch us then, okay?
Yeah. And have a great week. Thanks for listening to Rainbow Soulstrology, where we try to be a bridge between you and the stars. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Much love, all.
Thanks so much for spending time with us this week. We hope you're feeling more connected to the cosmic energies and ready to work with them in your daily life. If you enjoyed today's show, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps us reach more people who could use some cosmic guidance. And don't forget to share this episode with anyone who might need to hear it. We love hearing from you, so drop a comment, let us know what resonated most or what you would like covered next week. Your questions and feedback make our show better. Want to join us live? Subscribe! And catch us on Facebook and YouTube, where you can ask questions in real time and be part of our cosmic community as it happens. Until next week, trust your intuition, follow your inner wisdom, and remember, the stars are always supporting your journey. Thanks for listening to Rainbow Soulstrology, where we try to be a bridge between you and the stars.